Emmet Sheehan's rise in baseball has always felt like the quiet unfolding of a story that was never meant to stay quiet for long. From the moment he first stood on a mound, tall, composed, still figuring out what it meant to own a game, there was something about him that suggested the arc ahead would be different. Not necessarily louder, not necessarily flashier, but deeper. Built from layers of perseverance, patience, learning, recalibrating, and growing. His journey wasn't about declaring himself to the world. It was about slowly convincing it, pitch by pitch, that he belonged. That sense of conviction, of craft over clamor, has become one of the defining traits of who Emmet Sheehan is, and why his story continues to resonate with so many people who understand what it means to put the work in long before the lights ever arrive. When Sheehan first stepped into the Dodgers organization, he wasn't labeled the superstar or the guaranteed future ace. He entered as a talented arm with upside, someone intriguing, someone worth developing, someone who might become something if the pieces aligned. But Emmet never waited for the pieces to align. He forced them into alignment. His progression through the minors was not the meteoric rise you sometimes see in baseball. It was steadier, more intentional, reflective of someone who understood tempo. Every start became a lesson. Every misstep became an adjustment. And every small victory became a foundation stone laid for the next stage of his growth. And beneath it all was this unshakable, quiet confidence. This belief that he could become one of the arms that defined the Dodgers' future if he simply kept moving, kept working, and kept trusting in the process. When he finally reached the major leagues, fans saw what the Dodgers had quietly been nurturing. A pitcher with a unique blend of poise, deception, movement, and competitive intensity. The way his fastball played, the way hitters reacted late, the way his delivery created uncomfortable swings. Sheehan carried an unpredictability that made him compelling from the start. His early outings weren't perfect, but perfection was never the goal. Growth was. And with each start, with each high-pressure inning, with each moment standing on that mound under the weight of a major league stadium, he kept showing that he wasn't overwhelmed. He wasn't rushed. He was ready. What has always made Emmet Sheehan special is the way he handles the moments that would fracture lesser players. Baseball is not gentle with young pitchers. It exposes inexperience, magnifies errors, and tests mental resilience in ways that spectators rarely see. But Sheehan has always carried himself with a steadiness that suggests he's playing a longer game, one that stretches beyond a single outing or single season. His approach to adversity is measured. He doesn't crumble under pressure. He absorbs it. He studies it. He comes back sharper. That ability to transform difficulty into improvement is one of the most important reasons his career continues to trend upward with purpose and promise. As he settled into the Dodgers rotation, something else became clear. He wasn't just developing into a strong pitcher. He was becoming a presence. Teammates noticed the way he prepared, the way he asked questions, the way he went about his work without ego or entitlement. Coaches saw a pitcher who didn't simply want to survive at the major league level, but wanted to refine every detail of who he was on the mound. Fans connected with him not just because of his performance, but because there is something relatable in watching someone build themselves piece by piece, season by season, without ever losing that spark. Every time Sheehan steps onto the mound, there's an underlying narrative of evolution. You can see the layers of development in every pitch sequence, every mid-inning adjustment, every moment he refuses to let the game speed up on him. His talent is obvious, but what truly sets him apart is his mind for the game. He thinks like someone who has already lived a decade in the league. He strategizes like someone who understands the long-term arcs of hitters, the subtle adjustments they make, the rhythm of an outing. His maturity doesn't just show in the big moments. It shows in the mundane ones, the quiet innings, the routine work between starts, the way he talks about what he's trying to accomplish and where he wants to go. Yet, even with all the growth, all the momentum, all the emerging recognition, Sheehan has never lost the core identity that has carried him here. He competes with authenticity. He performs with humility. He works with a fire that stays mostly internal, a kind of controlled burn that fuels him without consuming him. That balance, intensity without ego, ambition without arrogance, is rare in a young athlete. It's part of what makes him such a compelling figure in today's era of baseball, where flash often overshadows substance. With Sheehan, The substance is the flash. As his career continues to evolve, there's a sense that Emmet Sheehan is only beginning to tap into what he can become. His pitch mix continues to deepen, his command continues to sharpen, and his understanding of how to dominate major league hitters grows with every inning he throws. The Dodgers have always thrived on developing pitchers who combine raw ability with cerebral refinement, and Sheehan embodies that lineage beautifully. What he is now is impressive. What he will be, if his progression continues at this trajectory, could be extraordinary. But perhaps the most meaningful part of Sheehan's story is the connection he has built with the people who follow his journey. Fans see in him the narrative of the steady climber, the grinder, the athlete who doesn't rely on hype but on work. They see someone who represents the idea that greatness is not always loud. It's often built in quiet hours, in repetition, in resilience, in that internal promise that you can outlast the doubts, the tough innings, the setbacks, the learning curves. Emmet Sheehan's career is a reminder that the most powerful stories in sports are rarely about overnight success. They're about persistence. They're about transformation. They're about finding ways to elevate even when nobody is watching. And that is why this tribute isn't just about baseball. It's about the person behind the mound, the mentality that shapes him, the character that drives him, and the journey that continues to unfold one pitch at a time. Emmet Sheehan has become more than a pitcher to Dodgers fans. He has become a symbol of what it means to embrace growth without fearing vulnerability, to accept challenges without bending to them, to keep moving forward even when the path isn't easy. His story is still being written, but what makes it beautiful is how intentional every chapter feels. As we look toward his future, the possibilities stretch wide. He has the tools, the intelligence, the poise, and the competitive hunger to become one of the pillars of the Dodgers rotation for years to come. But beyond the accolades he may collect, beyond the statistics he will continue to build, it's the journey itself that resonates most deeply. Watching Emmet Sheehan develop is watching the evolution of someone who honors the craft as much as the competition. It's watching someone who understands that greatness is a commitment, not a moment. And it's watching someone who inspires by example, through the way he carries himself, the way he competes, and the way he continues to write a story defined by resilience, passion, and purpose. Thank you all for taking the time to reflect on the journey of Emmet Sheehan. If his story resonated with you, if you found inspiration, passion, or appreciation in the details of his rise, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more people can join in celebrating athletes who give everything to their craft. Your support means everything, and staying connected helps keep tributes like this alive. Until next time, thank you for watching.